All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Heartland Championship Wrestling. My name is Dave Little, and we are coming to you live from the Dave Cave with action here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, and it is good to be back. If you follow me on Facebook, you may know that I have just gotten back from a couple of weeks in Scotland with my family, where we enjoyed a nice vacation and tour, first trip to Europe. And a good time was had by all. Was off the channel for a couple of weeks, but it is good to be back here on Sunday afternoon with action from the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. And boy, oh boy, the chat room is already filling up. Neil Lau first in line, Derek Bauman second in line, Bear 805 is third. Kathy Evans is here. So thank you one and all for joining us for tonight's Heartland Wrestling broadcast. The venue tonight is Columbia, South Carolina, the University of South Carolina, with action from the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. Your main event will be a tag team championship match to fill the vacant Atlantic Tag Team Championship. Those belts were vacated by the Midnight Express when the Midnights won the World Tag Team Championship. And so tonight it will be the Von Erichs, KERRY and David Von Erich specifically, facing off against Mr. Wrestling 1 and Mr. Wrestling 2 to earn the chance to hold the gold here in the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. Also tonight, a couple of very intense grudge matches will come your way. Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack, former tag team partners, are going to have it out. And the feud between Jimmy Hart and the faction of Whatever We Want against the Heenan family is also going to write another chapter here tonight in South Carolina. But we're going to start things out with some singles action. Should be a good match to get the show going. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, with a 30-minute time limit. Disqualification rules will be in effect. Introducing first from Kings Lynn, England, standing at 6'4", weighing 242 pounds, the national treasure, Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis making his way down to ringside for singles action here tonight, and his opponent is coming to you from Yokohama, Japan. He stands at 6'2", weighs 225 pounds. This is Antonio INOKI. So INOKI versus Aldis to kick off the show here. Two guys who have been perennial contenders in the AWF, and once again looking to climb that ladder for a shot at the gold. Of course, your current Atlantic Heavyweight Champion is Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty will be on the channel in 2 weeks, challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship at our next Hype event when he takes on the current World Heavyweight Champion, Barry Windham. So that will be a good match 2 weeks from tonight. But we're going to start things off with INOKI and Aldis here in South Carolina. And the opening initiative roll is tied, so right away we go to the Book of Shenanigans. The face to the mat, highlight center booklet. Nick Aldis rolling on this match. He rolls a 4-4. Is he helped? Neither man is helped. And so we will not have any shenanigans there, and Aldis will open the match on level 1 offense, and it is Aldis attempting a delayed vertical suplex. That is a power move, and he does hit that up, over, and down to the canvas hard goes INOKI. Aldis quickly going for the cover off of that move. INOKI has a pinfall rating of 1, so there will be no pin roll, but INOKI already picks up a point of fatigue off of Aldis's first move, and now Aldis is going for the Kings Lynn Cloverleaf. That is a submission finisher. It is a +2. Submission will be on a roll of 4 or lower. And on a roll of 10, INOKI able to make his way to the bottom rope and force the referee to break the hold. But Nick Aldis off to a stellar opening here in this one. And Aldis now with a Mag Daddy driver pounding INOKI into the mat. That's an add one move. INOKI already in trouble here as Aldis has taken control. Aldis now follows that up with a big superplex, and INOKI is down. Captain Carl 8 joins us in the chat room. Welcome to you, my friend. Aldis now going up for a death jump. Let's see, let's think about this one. INOKI is death jump A, and actually has a agility advantage over Aldis. So Aldis is going to forego the death jump, and he is going to roll up on level 2 offense. And he is going to hit a diving elbow drop that stuns Antonio INOKI. Aldis follows that up with a knee to the back, and INOKI is going to reverse that on the agility reversal and come back with a series of karate kicks to the leg. INOKI and Aldis now squaring off center of the ring after Aldis clearly got the best of INOKI in that opening series of confrontations, and now it is INOKI with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Nick Aldis, but on a roll of 4. INOKI sets his head too soon. Aldis grabs him, picks him up, and slams him down to the mat with a big, awesome pile driver. And once again, INOKI is down. Aldis with a chance to do some more damage here. Out of the ring we go. And on the out of the ring roll, it is Aldis who will win the brawl on the arena floor and dropkick Antonio INOKI over the security railing. Wow, INOKI has taken a lot of punishment in this match. And now Aldis, as INOKI comes back into the ring, is going to go for a running lariat. He'll need a roll of 7 or lower to hit that. And on a roll of 10, INOKI dodges the running lariat. And it is INOKI who is going to come back and attempt a moonsault. He'll need 7 or lower to hit the moonsault. And on a roll of 8, Aldis dodges the moonsault. Two very cerebral wrestlers in this contest. Not surprising they have each other well scouted. Aldis now in control, going for a bow and arrow submission move. He can submit INOKI here on a roll of 4 or lower. And on a roll of 10, INOKI able to break his way out of the bow and arrow hold. But the problems continue for INOKI. Aldis is on him. King's Lynn Cloverleaf applied once again. Another submission opportunity on 7 or lower here. And on a roll of 8, he barely escapes. Wow. INOKI on the verge of tapping out to the cloverleaf before he finally makes it to the bottom rope and forces the hold to be broken. Aldis stays on him. Going to go back to that running lariat attempt. And again, INOKI dodges the running lariat. And it is INOKI who comes back with a drop kick. Didn't get all of it, but got enough of it to take Aldis off balance and allow INOKI to get back to his feet. They come together again in the center of the ring. And this time it is INOKI going for a reverse hammerlock. Aldis able to work his way free from the hammerlock. And it is Aldis now coming back with a attempted a belly-to-belly suplex on a roll of 8 or lower, and on a roll of 7, he got him over and down. And INOKI is hurt. Aldis follows up quickly with a big superplex off the top turnbuckle. INOKI slowly getting to his feet, and now it is Aldis with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Antonio INOKI, but on a roll of 3, Aldis charges the turnbuckle and misses. Hits the ring post and tumbles out of the ring and down to the arena floor. Aldis now out of the ring, and on a roll of 7, that is the best man wins roll. Aldis again has the better ring rating and performs a diving lariat off of the ring apron onto INOKI. Good move there by Aldis to regain the momentum. Aldis now going once again for that running lariat. And finally he hits a running lariat on INOKI. And INOKI is down. Aldis with a chance to do some more damage here. He's going back to the cloverleaf. Submission roll now 8 or lower, and on a roll of 8, he got him. So a good win for Nick Aldis. He dominated that match. And flawless victory, in essence, for Nick Aldis as he wins it with the King's Lynn Cloverleaf to score the victory here in tonight's opening televised match. Dwayne Martz from the Dwayne Martz YouTube network. It is good to see you, my buddy. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, I have been traveling, spent a couple weeks in Europe, have been offline, and missed your broadcasts as well. So, Dwayne, hoping to get back to some of your broadcasts action on the Dwayne Martz YouTube network. As Al Red Sox fan would say, check out that wonderful channel. All right. Before we hit the airwaves tonight, we did have a few, I guess you could call them dark matches or preliminary matches. The opening match tonight was tremendous. Gosh, really, really good match as Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito in tag team action took on the debuting team of the Eliminators, Perry Saturn and John Cronus. Very tightly contested match. Saito and Fuji pulled out the victory when Saito pinned Cronus after a Saito suplex. Tony Atlas was up next, taking on Super Crazy. The return of Super Crazy, part of the new Filsinger set. And it was Atlas with the victory, pinfall over Super Crazy with a big drop kick. Tag team action followed as rival tag teams The Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, defeated the team of the Varsity Club, Mike Rotunda and Dan Spivey, when it was Mike Bennett getting the pinfall victory over Rotunda with a pile driver onto the ring apron. Very dangerous move performed by Mike Bennett to lead to the pinfall in that situation. All right, and that brings us up to date. It is time for tonight's first grudge match of the evening. And this one is going to be intense as the saga continues between the Heenan family, led by Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the faction of Whatever We Want, led by the one and only Jimmy Hart. And we are actually in the Atlantic Wrestling Federation, so Heenan's team is essentially the home team here. Neither of these teams are at all popular with the fans, but familiarity, I guess, breeds a little more affection for the Heenan family here as they take on the team of Whatever We Want. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall to a finish with no time limit and no disqualification. It is a grudge match, tag team grudge match. Introducing first team number one, accompanied to the ring by the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, representing the faction known as Whatever We Want. First, from Borger, Texas, standing at 6'3", weighing 322 pounds, this is Stan Hansen. And his tag team partner is your reigning Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Champion, standing at 6'1", weighing 247 pounds. Out of Amarillo, Texas, this is Terry Funk. So the team of Whatever We Want, Terry Funk and Stan Hansen, along with Jimmy Hart, coming out here to the unabashed boos of the fans here in Columbia, South Carolina. And their opponents, led to the ring by Bobby the Brain Heenan, representing the Heenan family. First, standing at 6'3", weighing 256 pounds, out of Robbinsdale, Minnesota, this is Curt Hennig. And his tag team partner comes to you from Los Angeles, California. Standing at 6'10", weighing 364 pounds, this is Big John Studd. And of course, the rivalry, the animosity between Whatever We Want and the Heenan family is long-standing. It's gone throughout the year 2024. I believe it was Buckeye Bowl 2024 on January the 1st, where these teams got after each other. Ric Flair, of course, the heavyweight champion, Terry Funk, and Ric Flair had a couple of very heated matches. Funk and Hennig have really been sort of the protagonists of this ongoing feud. And tonight here in Columbia, South Carolina, it will be tag team action between these two factions. And it will be, in fact, the two principals, Hennig and Funk, starting things off in this contest. Representing, of course, two of the great wrestling families in the history of the sport. More on that later. And in this grudge match, it is going to be Terry Funk who comes out and takes the opening initiative role. And Funk comes out with a front face lock and takes Hennig down to the canvas. Both of these two really accomplished technical wrestlers when they feel like it. But I don't think they're going to feel like it for long here tonight, as Terry Funk is going to attempt a power slam off of the choice E maneuver, and he got him up, over, and down, and Hennig is hurt. Funk stays on him, and Funk comes at him with a series of chops to the chest. Wow. He's trying to light up Curt Hennig right here from the opening contest, and now Funk is going to tag in Stan Hansen to do some more damage, and Hansen with a big suplex up, over, down, hard to the canvas. Goes Curt Hennig. Hennig slowly getting to his feet. Hansen's on him. Whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Curt Hennig, and on a roll of 8, it is Stan Hansen with a big kick. Those big size 14 cowboy boots of Stan Hansen doing their damage on Hennig. And now some kicks to the back just to add insult to injury. Followed by a kick to the knee. Hansen putting the boots to Hennig here in the opening stage of this matchup. Hennig rolling away, and as they come together again, it is Hennig attempting an arm drag. Hansen going to have nothing to do with that, and Hansen comes back instead with a big body slam, and down goes Curt Hennig hard. Wow, Jimmy Hart is proud of that. He is strutting and cackling on the ring apron as Hennig is down, and Hansen is in control, and Hansen now going for the Brazos Valley backbreaker. That is a big move, and Hennig is hurting. Hansen follows that up with a snapmare into a sleeper hold. Hennig on one knee, struggling to get free as those big arms of Stan Hansen do their damage. And now another series of kicks to the back delivered by Hansen. And Hennig finally is able to break out of those and try again to take Hansen down with a snapmare. Again, he cannot get him down as Hansen remains in control. Here comes Funk into the ring for a double team. And on a roll of 5, it is a bone-crunching double clothesline that nails Curt Hennig and just turns him inside out. Boy, Hennig can sell that double clothesline like nobody. He is down, and now it is Funk on him with a sleeper. Funk putting the sleeper hold back onto Curt Hennig, trying for a submission here. He'll need Snake Eyes, doesn't get it. But that's enough to put a point of fatigue on Curt Hennig. Hennig is taking a beating in this match as Funk stays on him, and Funk now is going to not go up for the death jump. He's going to think better of that, and instead is just going to punish Hennig with more of those chops to the chest. Funk just laying open a welt all over the chest of Hennig. Funk going for an arm drag takedown. Hennig able to dodge that on the agility roll. And now it is a running knee lift by Curt Hennig that stuns Terry Funk. Hennig goes for the quick cover, cannot get the pin, but Hennig finally is going to tag out to Big John Studd. And Studd comes into the ring, and he is in control now on Terry Funk. Wow. Give Curt Hennig credit. He took a beating from both men, but came out on top. And now Hennig is going to take things out of the ring against Terry Funk. And on the arena floor, it's going to be Funk winning the brawl on the arena floor as Funk hurls Big John Studd into the crowd. Terry Funk with a few words for the crowd here. Bobby Heenan beside himself at ringside, trying to get Studd back together and back into the ring where Hennig is waiting with all kinds of bad intentions. And now Funk is going to go up for the death jump. He's got a little bit of an easier target here in Big John Studd. And on a roll of 6, it is Funk coming off the top rope with a double axe handle that puts Studd back down onto the canvas. Here comes Hansen into the ring for a double team. And on a roll of 5, that is a devastating double team move as Funk caught Big John Studd across the chest with a big chop, and Hansen just took him right out with a lariat following that up. And Studd is down. And Hansen now is in control against Big John Studd, the two big men in the ring. Hansen going for a knee drop without the knee pad. That's just mean. Taking the knee pad off before you do a knee drop. And Studd tries to get the tag, cannot get there. Hansen follows that up with a snapmare into a sleeper hold. Studd struggling to his feet. And back in the center of the ring, this time it is Studd who picks up Hansen and is going to try to drop him throat first across the top rope. And he got him up and down, throat first onto the top rope. Hansen now is hurt. Studd with a chance to do some damage. Studd with a big shoulder block. Hansen tries to make the tag and is able to make the tag to his teammate Terry Funk. And Funk now will deal with the big Terry with Big John Studd in the center of the ring as we say hello to Kamala joining us here at ringside. Here's Terry Funk taking down Big John Studd, applying a head scissors, trying to take the gas out of the big man. And Funk now with a neck breaker, dropping Studd on the back of the neck. Well executed move by Funk. Funk staying in control, tries those chops to the chest. That's not going to do anything to a big man like Big John Studd. Studd instead tries for a headbutt on Terry Funk. That's an agility move. That ain't going to work. And the momentum goes back over to Terry Funk. And Funk again tries those chops to the chest, and Studd just stands there and does not budge. And now it is Studd with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Terry Funk, and that's a big shoulder tackle from Big John Studd that puts Funk back down onto the canvas. Studd in control here now, going for a big clothesline. And wow, he took Funk down with that big clothesline. Here comes Curt Hennig into the ring. We're going to see a double team now from the Heenan family. And on a roll of 8, that is a deadly elbow smash delivered by Curt Hennig. Hennig with a chance now to do some damage to Terry Funk, and he hits him with a running knee lift. Funk desperately trying to get over and make the tag, cannot get there. Hennig in control. Hennig going up for a death jump. Hennig going up to the top rope and coming off with a big drop kick off of the top rope that stuns Terry Funk. Here comes Big John Studd for another double team. And this time it is an awesome double neck breaker delivered by the Heenan family. Funk once again is down. And now Big John Studd with a big body slam, planting Terry Funk onto the mat. Studd follows that up with a big clothesline. Terry Funk still reeling. And Studd now whips him to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Terry Funk, but on a roll of 4. Studd drops his head too soon, and Terry Funk comes off with a big knee to the side of the head that puts Studd down onto the canvas. Funk now going back to that sleeper hold, trying to weaken the big man. Studd struggles to his feet, and Funk now with a series of headbutts, just pounding his head into the chest of Big John Studd. Studd slumps into the turnbuckle, and now Funk is going for the spinning toe hold. This is a +1 submission move. The submission roll here 4 or lower, and on a roll of 6, Studd able to survive the spinning toe hold. Bobby Heenan beside himself at ringside as Funk has taken control. Funk now going for a series of quick jabs, and Studd is going to fire back with a shove across the ring. Both men now going toe-to-toe in the center of the ring. It's Funk trying for an arm drag takedown, gets Studd down to the canvas, but Studd gets right back up, and it is Studd now with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Terry Funk, but on a roll of 3, Studd goes charging into the corner, misses the shoulder tackle into the turnbuckle, and tumbles out of the ring and down to the arena floor. And Terry Funk now, it's playtime for Terry Funk, and on a roll of 10, it is Terry Funk dropping Big John Studd stomach first across the security railing. Pity for that poor security railing. As Studd is in big trouble here. Here comes Stan Hansen into the ring for a double team, and it is a bone-crunching double clothesline again, delivered by the members of Whatever We Want. Stan Hansen now in control with the Brazos Valley backbreaker. Big John Studd in trouble here as Hansen follows up with a snapmare back into the sleeper hold. That seems to be a strategy for these guys to try and wear down the big man with that sleeper maneuver. And now here is Hansen continuing on the offense with a big chop. And Studd is dazed, slowly getting to his feet. Hansen's on him with a series of punches, pounding away at the face, pounding away at the midsection, pounding away more at the face and midsection. Studd will just not go down. And finally now a big headbutt from Stan Hansen stuns Big John Studd. Studd reaches over and finally makes the tag to Curt Hennig. And it is Hennig moving back out into the ring against Stan Hansen. And Hennig with a cocky slap to the face. Oh my goodness, that is just, you talk about more guts than brains. Slapping a man like Stan Hansen. But now Terry Funk wants to get back into the ring. Funk comes back into the ring to take on Curt Hennig. And it is Funk attempting an overhead wrist lock. Hennig quickly reverses that. And Hennig with a snapmare takes Funk over and down to the canvas. Hennig follows that up with a running knee lift, and that is going to take Funk out of the ring and down to the arena floor. Terry Funk now out on the arena floor, and once again it is Funk winning the brawl on the arena floor with a big suplex onto the concrete. Wow, that took the starch out of Curt Hennig. Terry Funk back in control here, and Funk is now going to go for another series of headbutts that put Hennig back down on the canvas. Here comes HANSEN in for a double team, and on a roll of 9, it is a big elbow smash delivered by Stan Hansen to Curt Hennig. Hansen now in the ring and in control with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Curt Hennig, but on a roll of 4, it is Hennig who bounces forward off the turnbuckle and catches Stan Hansen with a skull-splitting running lariat. Hennig is going to go for a quick cover. He can catch a pinfall on Snake Eyes, but on a roll of 7, Hansen kicks out, but Hennig now is in control, and Hennig is going to not take things out of the ring. Instead, he is going to go for a rolling neck snap that stuns Stan Hansen. All 4 men have taken some damage now. Another rolling neck snap, and Hansen is going out of the ring and down to the arena floor. But on a roll of 8, it is Hennig who wins the brawl on the arena floor with an Irish whip into the ring steps. Stan Hansen crashing hard into those ring steps. Hennig now in control, chance to do some more damage here. And he is going to go now with another rolling neck snap. And Hansen again leaving the ring. And this time it is Hennig with a huge, we're going to the shenanigans chart on a roll of 12. We may have a double count out here. There are no double count outs in this match, although that on a roll of 5, that would have been a double count out. So Hennig and Hansen are now fighting their way up into the crowd. And what is going to happen here? It is going to be ringside mayhem. And we're going to get tables involved. And it is going to be Hennig setting up a table on the outside of the ring. Both men now coming back into the ring. The table has been set up. And that is a threat for future consideration. But as they come back into the ring, it is Stan Hansen who takes control, winning the gut check roll and catching Hennig in a Brazos Valley backbreaker. That is he's going to try for a submission here on 3 or lower. On a roll of 5, Hennig is able to free himself from the Brazos Valley backbreaker. And now it is going to be Hansen attempting a slingshot elbow drop. This is a choice G maneuver, choice G. So he's going to go for the power roll of 8 or lower. And on a roll of 5, he hits the slingshot elbow drop, and Hennig is down. Here comes Funk into the ring for a double team. And on a roll of 9, it is a running forearm smash delivered by Terry Funk to maintain control over Curt Hennig. And now a big neck breaker delivered by Funk, just dumping Hennig onto the back of his head in the center of the ring. Funk in control now with a big body slam. Hennig slowly getting to his feet. They come together in the center of the ring, and it's Hennig taking Funk over with a hip toss. And Hennig following that up with a rolling neck snap. Funk trying to get out and make the tag. Hansen tags himself back into the match. Hennig also going to make the tag. And it is Hansen coming at it with Big John Studd. Studd takes the initiative and just shoves Hansen backwards across the ring. Studd follows that up with an attempt at a back elbow smash. That's an agility maneuver, and it is Hansen who has the agility advantage. I think a box turtle would have the agility advantage over Big John Studd, and now it is Hansen with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Studd, and on a roll of 9, it's a big kick from Stan Hansen that stuns Big John Studd. Now a series of kicks to the back delivered, and Studd taking more punishment here. Hansen is going to go for a cover on Big John Studd, and Studd powers his way out of that pinfall. But that is now 3 points of fatigue on Big John Studd, and that means it is time for Bobby the Brain Heenan to take action here. And on a roll of 8, Heenan trips up Stan Hansen. And that is going to give Big John Studd the opportunity to attack from behind. And it is Studd with a big shoulder block. But HANSEN survives the big shoulder block from behind, and HANSEN comes back instead with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Big John Studd, but on a roll of 2, that is Big Stan Hansen setting himself too early, and Studd picks him up and slams him to the floor with a huge body slam. Hansen is down. Studd now in control. Studd is going to take things out of the ring again. Will we see shenanigans here? Yes, we will. What type of shenanigans will it be? And we're going back to the tables roll. Remember, there is a table set up on the arena floor already. And on a roll of 5, we're going to see somebody going through that table. It's going to be a gut check roll. With Studd, the wrestler, on offense. But it is Hansen who wins the gut check roll, and it is Hansen who backdrops Big John Studd through the table. Big John Studd has been backdropped through the ringside table. That is going to cost him a point of fatigue. Hansen now in control as the match continues. And it is Hansen now going to that knee drop again without the knee pad, that dirty son of a gun. Hansen follows that up with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Big John Studd, and on a roll of 7, it is a back body drop by Stan Hansen that puts Studd back down onto the canvas. Hansen follows that up with a series of kicks to the back. And that is going to put Studd down onto the canvas. What's Hansen going to do here? He is going to go for the Brazos Valley backbreaker. Studd once again is down. Here comes Terry Funk in for a double team. And on a roll of 8 is an awesome double neck breaker executed by Funk and Hansen. And it is Terry Funk now with a chance to do some damage. And Funk is going to pitch John Studd back out of the ring and down to the arena floor. And shenanigans are going to take place yet again, as this match is all over the place. On the arena floor, it is a foreign object that is coming into play. There is the ring steps are going to come into play here. Again, we go to the gut check roll. And again, the gut check roll is won by Terry Funk. So he is going to nail Big John Studd with the ring steps. And that is going to cost another point of fatigue to Big John Studd. He's been busted open. It's time for Curt Hennig now to take action and try and come to the aid of his partner, as Studd has been busted open by the ring steps. We go to our tag team interference chart. And let's see what we got here. This match has been going on a while, but thanks everybody for hanging out with us. So it is Curt Hennig attempting to save his partner Big John Studd on a roll of 6. It is the referee putting Hennig out of the ring, so there will be no interference by Curt Hennig, but that does provide enough of a distraction that Funk is able to, Funk is slowed down just enough that Studd is going to be on level 2 defense instead of level 3. But Funk is going to go with a backbreaker, a choice E maneuver. And he can complete that on 11 or lower, and he got the backbreaker. And Studd is hurt. Funk is still in control. Funk is going to try that backbreaker again. Again, he hits it. And again, Studd slow getting to his feet. Funk stays on him. Going to try that backbreaker yet again and hit it yet again. And this time, Studd goes down and stays down. What's Terry Funk going to do now? He is going to go for a sleeper hold. And Studd is going to leave the ring. Out of the ring goes Big John Studd, and on a roll of 9, it is Funk winning the brawl on the arena floor and slamming the head of Studd into the ring post. Studd already busted open, and now his face has donned the crimson mask as Terry Funk goes to work on him. Out of the ring we go again. And it is Big John Studd just barely able to crawl back into the ring where Funk is waiting. Stan Hansen is there. They're going to go for a double team again. And it is a bone-crunching double clothesline. It is getting ugly here for Big John Studd, as Hansen now is in control. And Hansen's going to pitch Studd out of the ring. and do more damage on the arena floor as HANSEN slams the head of Big John Studd into the ring apron. And now HANSEN is going to go with the lariat. That is his +3 finisher, the pin roll here, 10 or lower. And on a roll of 5, he got him. Wow. Big John Studd took a serious beating in that match. He was busted open and finally pinned by Stan Hansen with the lariat to finish off a very ugly grudge match. And we're going to have to see what sort of medical damages that Studd faced. There may be a trainer evaluation. We'll do an injury roll later on in the aftermath of the show to determine the outcome for Big John Studd. But tonight's winners in this grudge match, much to the dismay of the crowd here in South Carolina, would be the team of Whatever We Want, these scoundrels from Texas. Terry Funk, Stan Hansen, and Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart, as Big John Studd is going to have to be taken out of here with assistance after the punishment that he took from that ruthless bunch of scoundrels from Whatever We Want. And indeed tonight they did do whatever they wanted. And it was Big John Studd who paid a heavy price. All right, so lots of action there in the grudge match. Still got 7 folks with us in the chat room, so thank you for hanging out for what was a brutal grudge match. And this next grudge match may not last that long, but it's going to be every bit as gruesome, as former tag team partners are squaring off, and that never ends well. And by the way, we did lose Kevin Sullivan here recently in the past week or two. So may he rest in peace. Godspeed to Kevin Sullivan and his family with his passing, I believe, at the age of 73. So we will, what better way to commemorate the life and career of Kevin Sullivan than a diabolical grudge match? Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall to a finish with no time limit and no disqualification. Introducing first, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, standing at 6'2", weighing 287 pounds, this is Cactus Jack. And his opponent from Boston, Massachusetts, standing at 5'11", weighing 252 pounds, this is Kevin Sullivan. So Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack to square off in a no disqualification grudge match. And things here could get ugly between these former partners. They actually won the World Tag Team Championships at one point, but after their success waned, their friendship was strained, and finally, after enough losing, they finally just blew up at each other. And we're going to see the aftermath of that breakup here tonight in Columbia, South Carolina. And sure enough, we go to the Shenanigans book, the Face to the Mat, and this is going to be a hardcore version of the wild card results. Rolled by Cactus Jack on a 5-1. Is the opponent heavier? Yes, Cactus Jack is the heavier of the two men. Wrestler climbs on top of pylon and dead drops on fallen opponent. So they're already getting into it before the match even starts. Cactus Jack coming off of the concrete steps on the rampway, taking down Kevin Sullivan, doing damage early, and the match has begun, and it is going to be a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Kevin Sullivan, and Kevin Sullivan bounces forward into an incredible neck-breaking clothesline delivered by Cactus Jack. Kevin Sullivan is down, and Cactus Jack now is going to take things with a diving elbow off of the ring apron. And Sullivan is going to roll off the apron and down to the arena floor. Out of the ring we go. Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack mixing it up. And on a roll of 7, it is Cactus Jack with a drop kick over the security railing. Who knew Cactus Jack had that in him? This guy is full of surprises. Cactus Jack now in control. Out of the ring we go again, and now it is a somersault leap to the arena floor. and that is going to cost Kevin Sullivan a point of fatigue. That's a once per match mechanic that Cactus Jack has available to him. And now it is Cactus Jack keeping things out of the ring yet again. And we're not going to the shenanigans chart quite yet, but it is Cactus Jack with another devastating move on the arena floor, dropping the throat of Kevin Sullivan across the security railing. Kevin Sullivan picking right up where Big John Studd left off here, just basically a human crash test dummy. And now it is the Cactus clothesline delivered by Cactus Jack. That crazy clothesline over the top rope and down to the arena floor, that takes a point of fatigue off of both men. As both men land on the arena floor in a heap. Cactus Jack first to his feet and on the arena floor. Oh, it's Kevin Sullivan who wins the brawl on the arena floor this time and just pitches Cactus Jack into the crowd. These two men are having the time of their lives, beating each other to a bloody pulp. And now it is Sullivan going to attempt a death jump. Kevin Sullivan going up to the top rope, but oh, on a roll of 5. Cactus Jack takes the legs out from under Kevin Sullivan, and Kevin Sullivan lands in a most inconvenient way on the top turnbuckle as Cactus Jack hits him with a big bang bang. And Cactus Jack now in control with another big Cactus clothesline. Out of the ring we go again. Both men taking another point of fatigue. I told you this match wasn't going to last long, and this is why, because when these two go at it, it is mutually assured destruction. On the arena floor again, it is Kevin Sullivan suffering the damage at the hands of Cactus Jack as Jack drops him stomach first across the security railing. Cactus Jack remains in control. Now the double arm DDT. That's his finisher. The pin roll here, 8 or lower, and on a roll of 7, he got him. So Cactus Jack beat the tar out of Kevin Sullivan and beat the tar out of himself along the way. But it is Cactus Jack winning it with a double arm DDT to score the victory in this grudge match, and for a moment get the better of Kevin Sullivan as Cactus Jack gloats and Kevin Sullivan has to be rolled away from ringside after that double arm DDT. So Cactus Jack, your winner in that grudge match. And fans, it is now time for your main event of the evening, and this one is going to be much more, much more civil, I would anticipate. As both of these two teams are law-abiding citizens and both well appreciated by the fans, and both have worked very hard to make it to the top of the ladder of the tag team division here in the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. And of course, it will be, of course, it was the Midnight Express who vacated the belts and created the opportunity for these two teams to go at it here tonight in Columbia for to become the new champions. Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane winning the World Heavyweight, the World Tag Team Championship to set up this match tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. There will be no disqualification in this match. It is for the vacant Atlantic Tag Team Championship. Introducing first, at a total combined weight of 494 pounds out of Denton County, Texas, it is KERRY and David Von Erich, the Von Erich brothers. KERRY and David coming to the ring now, to the cheers of the fans here in South Carolina. They're not quite as popular in South Carolina as they might be in Texas, but still being very well received as they come out for their championship shot. And their opponents coming to the ring at a total combined weight of 453 pounds. It is Mr. Wrestling and Mr. Wrestling 2. On the flight back from Scotland, I did get a chance to check out the movie, The Iron Claw, featuring the life story of the Von Erich family. And the movie was, I would say, very well done. And if you've seen that movie, then please weigh in with your thoughts in the chat room. I thought the casting in the movie was 99% brilliant. All the Von Erich brothers captured that appearance and that swagger to a T. I thought Harley Race was just absolutely dead on, perfectly cast and perfectly acted. The Ric Flair character was, physically had a good look, but the Ric Flair impersonation was just awful. And to me, that was the low point of the movie. Was whoever the guy was trying to do his Ric Flair interpretation just did not catch the vibe of the Nature Boy. Yeah, the Ric Flair casting was ridiculous. Cleveland baseball fan Tim agrees with me on that. Other than Ric Flair, that movie was really, really good. And the casting was brilliant. That movie actually won several awards for the choreography. Chavo Guerrero Jr., who was in charge of the choreography and the in-ring sequences, got an award, and well deserved. The wrestling action was really, really good, and it really, really captured that gritty, old school 80s brutality, wrestling. There was not the flash and dash in the 80s that there is 40 years later. And in that opening sequence in particular with Fritz Von Erich in the ring was just so gritty and tremendous. The storyline was over dramatized. And, having lived through that era of Kerry and Kevin and David and the Von Erichs, and I was just getting to my early days as a wrestling fan when David Von Erich passed away. I followed the career of Kerry and his tragic passing, and was a fan of Kevin and, of course, the two younger Von Erichs who were rolled into one for movie purposes. So, I would have liked to see more drama around Kerry winning the NWA Heavyweight Championship. You never did see the celebration and the joy. It was just kind of an afterthought that Kerry's championship win and then his losing the belt 21 days later, and they kind of missed on some of the moments of historical significance to the wrestling fan with the way that they with the way that they portrayed the wins and losses of Kerry of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. They completely glossed that over, and that was disappointing. But all in all, I thought it was a good film. And my family members who are not wrestling fans really, really enjoyed the film for the cinematography of it and for the drama of it and just for the way that it captured the emotions associated with the legacy and the curse of the Von Erichs. So, yeah, that is my review of the Iron Claw movie in a nutshell. And now let's see if Kerry and David can capture the Atlantic Tag Team Championship here in tonight's main event. And to open things up, it will be Mr. Wrestling 2 coming out against David Von Erich to start things off. And it will be Mr. Wrestling 2 with the initiative. We're not going to the Shenanigans book. So when I roll the opening initiative roll, if the roll is tied, that's when I go to the Shenanigans book, the Face to the Mat book, just to see, maybe generate an angle, generate a little different storyline to start the match. And then on a roll of 1 to 3, it will be the baby faces who roll in the book. On 4 to 6, it will be the heels who roll in the book. And if the book doesn't really tell me anything, I'll just go 1 to 3. The baby face gets the advantage, and 4 to 6, the heel gets the advantage. Not that the Von Erichs are the heels in this situation, but they're Texas guys, and Mr. Wrestling 2 more of an Atlantic guy, so. We cast them in the role of the babyface, and they're not going to cheat on each other at the beginning of the match. So Mr. Wrestling 2 comes out with the advantage, and it is Wrestling 2 with a top wrist lock, well executed against the bigger David Von Erich. Wrestling 2 gets the leverage and takes David down to one knee, And Wrestling 2 then with a series of clubbing blows, David back to his feet. And David instead scores with a knee lift on Mr. Wrestling 2. So even exchange there, starting things off. They come back together in the center of the ring. And it is Wrestling 2 attempting a headlock takeover. That is, however, a power move. David has the power advantage, as you might imagine. And it is David who comes out with the control there. And David follows up with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Wrestling 2, but on a roll of 3. That is David setting his head too soon. We've seen that a lot here tonight. And Mr. Wrestling 2 stunning him with a big knee lift. And Mr. Wrestling 2 takes control. And now it is the $1 million knee lift. That's a pin on a roll of snake eyes. But David able to kick out after the $1 million knee lift. Mr. Wrestling 2 stays on him. And he is going to go up now for a death jump. Coming off the top turnbuckle is Mr. Wrestling 2. And on a roll of 10. That is the agility rating. The agility is even. So Mr. Wrestling 2 knocks David down off of the top rope and down to the mat. Here comes Mr. Wrestling, Tim Woods, into the match for the first double team. And they are going to execute a bone-crunching double clothesline on David. Mr. Wrestling now in control. And Mr. Wrestling with a sleeper hold. Trying to put David down. The submission roll here 3 or lower. And on a roll of 6, David able to power his way out of the sleeper hold. But the team of Mr. Wrestling and Mr. Wrestling 2 have controlled the action here as Mr. Wrestling continues to maintain that sleeper hold. David's going to try and make the tag on a roll of 9. He is not able to get there. And Mr. Wrestling now is going to go up for once again a death jump. And this time on a roll of 11. That is a perfect cross body block executed by Mr. Wrestling. He's going to go for the cover. The pin roll here is 4. And on a roll of 8, David able to kick out. That's 3 fatigue tokens. And it is going to be Kerry now attempting to come in and turn the tables. And he is able to do so. Kerry comes in and is able to rescue his brother and turn the tables and allow David the opportunity to get onto the offense. He pulled Mr. Wrestling out of the ring, and Irish whipped Mr. Wrestling into the ring steps, tossed him back into the ring before the referee could do anything about it, and now David is in the ring and in control. And it is going to be David with the Iron Claw. The Iron Claw has been applied. The submission roll here will be 5 or lower. And on a roll of 4, he may get him. Mr. Wrestling 2 going to try and make the save. And he is able to make the save. And rescue his partner from suffering submission at the hands of the Iron Claw. David's going to tag in brother Kerry now. Kerry, the fresh man, coming into the ring. And Kerry is going back to the sleeper hold. Mr. Wrestling's running lights have been dimmed. Kerry is trying to maintain the advantage, and now Kerry going to the abdominal stretch. Kerry following that up with a big knee drop on Mr. Wrestling. And Kerry now follows that up with a series of overhead rights. Mr. Wrestling is reeling as Kerry has taken control here after successfully turning the tables. Here's a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Mr. Wrestling, and on a roll of 10, it is a big specialty move by both men, with the advantage going to the man with the better turnbuckle rating. That is Kerry. Kerry takes over on level 3 offense, and he is going to go up now for the death jump. Kerry going up to the top rope, coming off with the death jump. But on a roll of 4, that is Mr. Wrestling catching Kerry and throwing him down to the arena floor, down to the mat, where Kerry has been stunned. Mr. Wrestling now back in control, and he is going to go for a short suplex. He's going to go for the cover. The pin roll here is 3, and on a roll of 4, Kerry just got his leg over the bottom rope to break up the cover. Here comes Mr. Wrestling 2. They have an opportunity to double team here, and on a roll of 9, it is a running forearm smash delivered by Mr. Wrestling 2 onto Kerry Von Erich. Mr. Wrestling 2 now takes him down with a front face lock. No finer technician in the history of wrestling than Mr. Wrestling 2. And now a leg cannonball executed on KERRY. Wrestling 2 maintains control with a series of clubbing blows. And now Mr. Wrestling coming back in for another opportunity at a double team. And on a roll of 10, oh, that's a botch. As Wrestling 2 held KERRY. Wrestling 1 came at him with a running shoulder tackle, but KERRY got out of the way. Collision between Wrestling and Wrestling 2. And that will give KERRY the opportunity to take control. And he now is going to pummel away on Mr. Wrestling 2 with a series of overhead rights. And Mr. Wrestling 2 now is going to leave the ring and go out to the arena floor. But oh, on a roll of 11, it is KERRY coming out and slamming the head of Mr. Wrestling 2 into the ring post. We may see a count out here on a roll of 3 or lower. But on a roll of 8, Mr. Wrestling 2 able to get back into the ring where KERRY is waiting. And KERRY now is going to hit him with a sleeper hold once again. And once again, Mr. Wrestling is going to leave the ring and go down to the arena floor. Wrestling 2 trying to catch a break down there. And on a roll of 9, it's going to be the helpless crawl as Mr. Wrestling 2 comes back into the ring. Here's David coming into the ring now for a double team. And on a roll of 6, it is a bone-crunching double clothesline delivered by the Von Erich brothers. David now in control. And David going for the figure 4 leg lock. Mr. Wrestling 2 may be forced to submit here on a roll of 4 or lower. And on a roll of 10, Wrestling 2 is able to escape. But David now has taken control, and David now goes back to the figure 4 leg lock. Wrestling 2 struggling, trying to make the tag. He is not able to get there. Here comes KERRY into the ring for a double team. And on a roll of 5, it is a devastating move. As David holds that figure 4, KERRY drops the knee across the leg, and that is going to cost Mr. Wrestling 2 another point of fatigue, as KERRY is now in the ring and in control. That's 3 points of fatigue on Mr. Wrestling 2. Will Mr. Wrestling attempt to turn the tide here, or will he save his pin save? He's going to save the pin save. As KERRY hits Mr. Wrestling 2 with a big knee lift. And Wrestling 2 staggered by that. Comes back and attempts a hip toss. Gets KERRY over. And KERRY not able to make the tag as Mr. Wrestling 2 now back in control with a series of arm drag takedowns. KERRY back to his feet. Wrestling 2 coming at him with another top wrist lock, taking KERRY down to the mat. Good technical move there by Mr. Wrestling 2. And now a big back suplex by Wrestling 2. And he is going to tag out to his partner, Mr. Wrestling, Tim Woods, coming into the ring as the fresh man. The 2 fresh men in the ring, and here is Mr. Wrestling with a cross arm breaker. Going to try for a submission here on a roll of 4 or lower. And oh, on a roll of 3, he may get him if David can't make the save. And on a roll of 7, he can't get there. And just like that, Mr. Wrestling 2 has forced KERRY Von Erich to tap out. And Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2 have won the Atlantic Tag Team Championship. Good series of technical moves there by Mr. Wrestling 2. Tapping out David with a cross arm breaker. Tapping out KERRY with a cross arm breaker. So congratulations to Mr. Wrestling and Mr. Wrestling 2 as they have won the Atlantic Tag Team Championship here in Columbia, South Carolina. Nice round of applause for the Von Erich brothers as they leave the ring in defeat, acknowledging the victors and new Atlantic Tag Team Champions, Mr. Wrestling and Mr. Wrestling 2. All right, folks, that's going to wrap things up here for tonight's broadcast. It has been a good show. Dave Gardner here in the ring. Good to see you, Dave. Hope you enjoy your trip to the Hall of Fame next weekend. Been there many times. I've got family in the neighborhood of the Hall of Fame. Not going to make the drive next weekend. It's an 8-hour drive from my home in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. And I'm not an APA player, so I really have no good reason to take the 8-hour drive to Canton for the Hall of Fame event. But if there's another event at the Hall of Fame that maybe a strat event or some sort of generic gaming event, maybe a play convention type of deal, I might make that drive at some point in the future. But yeah, enjoy the Hall of Fame. Say hello to my nephew and and his wife and their kids while you're in Canton, Ohio. Canton, Ohio is the home of my late sister Flo. Very, very dear sister of mine, passed away back in 2016 unexpectedly at a young age, after living for many years in North Canton, just down the road from Akron, where I went to college. So very fond memories of Canton, Ohio. More than just APA. Well, yeah, Dave would be the only reason to go. I would have to take Friday afternoon off probably to make the drive. Play games will be at the hall. Michael Brada is here. Michael, good to see you, my friend. Will they be there this weekend, or is that going to be another occasion? They usually do a New York Hall of Fame thing in the fall, I think, with Keith Avalone and his crew. So yeah, keep me posted. I suppose I could make an 11th hour decision to take the afternoon off on Friday and swing over to Canton for the day. My wife works this weekend, so I could conceivably pull that off and drive back on Sunday. I will keep it in mind. I'd say there's right now about a 9.8% chance of me making the trip. Just back from Scotland and a couple of weeks on the road. So yeah, we'll continue to give it some thought. But yeah, Dave, great to see you. Michael Brada, thanks for coming in. Cleveland Baseball Fan 879. Yeah, and your comment about the Von Erich movie, the audible gasps when they showed the scenes of KERRY without his foot. Yeah, that was, certainly I knew that was coming, but my family members did not, and for folks who did not, that would have been a shock. Bear 805, Kamala, Dwayne Martz, Neil Lau, Captain Carl 8, Kathy Evans, Derek Bauman, Neil Lau. Thank you to everybody for turning out for tonight's broadcast. So from the Dave Cave, this is Dave Little signing off. And Dave Gardner, do me a favor. If you could drop a link in the comments of this video with more information about the Hall of Fame event this coming weekend in Canton, I will give that another thought and see if I can sweet talk the missus into cutting me loose for a weekend in Northeast Ohio. But yeah, thank you everybody for turning out tonight. Good night, one and all. This is from the Dave Cave, Dave Little signing off on behalf of the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. That's our stream, and I am out of here.